with Ryan O'Shaughnessy turning Irish people into instant Eurovision diehards ahead of this year's final. John Byrne recalls 6 previous times Ireland suddenly went mental. God loves a winner. But there's nothing Irish people like better than a bandwagon to jump aboard. Last Tuesday night, the Eurovision Song Contest became our latest excuse for getting wrapped up in a tricolour. With Ryan O'Shaughnessy becoming the first Irish contestant to survive the semi-finals since 2013, it means Saturday's final is suddenly the most important thing ever. Cue Portuguese-themed nights and Algarve-inspired sessions as the Eurovision Decider comes live from Lisbon. It ain't the first time and won't be the last that we'll be so proud to be Irish if we win. Here are some of the occasions in the past that drew Irish people together and turned the Emerald Isle into a nationwide party zone. 1. Dana triumphs at the Eurovision 1970. Back in 1970, Ireland was still in the 1950s. Everyone was either broke or broken, emigration was our national sport, and an international victory in anything by anyone from the Emerald Isle was frankly unthinkable. Then a gap-toothed teenager from Derry charmed Europe with a winsome smile, an innocent tune and a stool. Believe it or not, chairs had yet to arrive in Ireland back then, to give us our first ever Eurovision winner. A nation partied as all kinds of everything became a new national anthem. We even learned to smile a little. Before Dana, everything was in black and white. This was our Dorothy landing in Oz moment. Just look at these videos as Ireland goes from monochrome to colour. Mental rating, 6.2. Stephen Roche storms the Tour de France 1987. The only good thing about the 1970s was that we hadn't yet lived through the 1980s. Life in Ireland then was like a fairy tale, grim. But that all changed and a nation put the OK in spoke when Dublin cyclist Stephen Roche got on his bike and achieved the seemingly impossible by winning the Tour de France while eating Galty cheese. Then Taoiseach Charles Haughey famously appeared on the winner's podium in Paris to claim Roche's victory for Ireland and himself. Charles de Gaulle. This was also the year every Irish boy under the age of 16 got a brand new bicycle for Christmas and a first generation of Lycra lovers was born. Ireland would never be the same again. Mental rating, 8.3. Italian 90. Some Irish people discovered football when Ray Horton scored the winner against England at Euro 88, but the beautiful game simply swept a nation off its feet 2 years later during the 1990 World Cup. In its first ever finals, the Republic marched to the quarter-finals without actually winning a game, and went out to host nation Italy, but only after a penalty shootout in the last 16 against Romania saw the country in complete lockdown. Or just locked. Then Taoiseach Charles Haughey matched his Tour de France win 4 years earlier with a triumphant march around the Stadio Olimpico running track after Schillaci struck the killer blow in Rome. A2. Charlie. Ole. Mental rating, 10.4. Riverdance 1994. Here was the moment Ireland started believing in itself. It was a huge collective error of judgment that we've been desperately seeking to emulate ever since. After all, the party was amazing. Once those jaw-dropping 7 minutes or so of Riverdance were up at the Eurovision interval, so was the entire nation. After a generation of embarrassment about Irish dancing, suddenly it was cool. Hell, we were cool. Even Michael Flatley got away with a haircut that was a hybrid mullet and Johnny Cash quiff. Before we knew it, everyone in Ireland owned a region of Spain, had a different Ferrari for each day of the week, and boasted of a mortgage the size of Australia. And it's all thanks to Bill Whelan. Mental rating, 11. Number 12. Number 20. Ah sure, make it an even 50. 5. Beating Pakistan in the cricket 2007. Back in the mid-18th century, cricket was the most popular sport in Ireland. 150 years later it staged a remarkable comeback when Ireland qualified for the Cricket World Cup for the first time in 2007. On St. Patrick's Day, Ireland played Pakistan, rated number 4 in the world. Despite being complete outsiders, Ireland won by 3 wickets in what's regarded as one of the sport's greatest upsets. An entire nation almost discovered what silly mid-on means, and you couldn't get a Cricket Ireland jersey for love, money, or anything else, really. Suddenly, cricket was wicked. Ironically, this weekend sees Ireland play their first ever Test cricket match, and it's against Pakistan. Mental rating, 6. See what I did there. 6. The O'Donovan brothers win the crack at the Olympics 2016. If there's one thing the Irish love, it's a good row. Rowing was another matter entirely, until the O'Donovan brothers came along and won the Charm Olympics. Paul and Gary O'Donovan nearly won the real Olympics too, by finishing second in the 2016 Rio Games in the lightweight double sculls. It was a first for Ireland, and the world fell in love with two untainted lads from Skibbereen de Beckershire nowhere who wouldn't look out of place on Young Offenders, Hardy Bucks, or even a John Hind postcard. And while the rest of the planet thought, crazy Irish guys, the rest of us just got on with having the crack. You'll never beat the Irish at that. Mental rating, 7.6 ways to tell that you're a bona fide bandwagon jumper. 1. Up until days, hours, even before Ireland qualified, you had zero interest in the competition. 2. You're not quite sure how it all works, but yay. Ireland. 3. You think you might have heard of Ireland's representative before, and may even be a distant relative. 4. Your overriding thought is, Ireland can win, right? 5. You'd think nothing of wearing a GAA jersey at a rugby game. 6. Something okay. Anything makes you so proud to be Irish that it's essential you spend all day in the pub. John Byrne. You can watch the Eurovision Song Contest on RTE1, Saturday, May 12th at 8 p.m. Or tune in to RTE2 FM for live commentary. Click here for more Eurovision news.